Oh, this is an awkward video for me. Hi, I'm Katriana, and I've been a spiritual healing teacher for over 20 years. I took a 1 year break from doing this work, and now I'm back on YouTube. I have been wanting to do YouTube for over 10 years. The reason why I want to dive into YouTube is because I've always struggled with my spiritual work. I wanted to I wanted to be accessible, but I didn't want it to kill me, and it did. I gave so much of myself that I got exhausted. So being able to come on YouTube is just amazing, and I really want to come on here and support you. And part of this video tonight is uncomfortable for me to talk about, but I will, because I trust my friends and I trust people around me that, you know, we've been working together. So quite often, quite a lot of people that have been working with me in this work and working in the community for a long time have become good friends, and I trust them. And one of the things that one of my friends has asked me to talk about is the difference of my work compared to other people's. Now, this is pretty uncomfortable for me to talk about because firstly, I haven't experienced my own work except for in these videos. I've started to watch these videos because I have to for editing, and I'm really like, wow, like I'm really taking in the teachings in a different way, which is beautiful for me, because quite often I've spent years looking at things, and most of the way I think about things is slightly different to what's out there, which I am becoming more aware of as I do these videos. I think my client friend was talking to me about today, why they wanted me to talk about the difference is because I think that they experience when they're out in the world and they're talking with people. There are a lot of people out there that have read a lot of spiritual books. They've read a lot of spiritual books. They've done a lot of courses. They've done a lot of spiritual work, and they identify as being spiritual. But when my friend goes to those situations with those kind of people, he finds himself feeling very isolated because they're usually quite disconnected from themselves. They still throw their anger. They still put themselves down. They still don't know how to deal with the difficult things in life. And then their emotional intelligence is quite low. Not always, but quite a lot. You know, people don't have emotional intelligence, and what they've done is spend a lot of time meditating, a lot of time maybe doing yoga or other practices, but they haven't integrated it into life. So although they do those things outside of their life, they're not living their spirituality every day for every moment. And that, I think, is the difference, because what I'm trying to encourage everyone to do, because it is so amazing for you, is to learn what it is to live in your heart space. What does living in your heart space actually mean? I mean, I will talk to people about, you know, come from your heart, you know, you like talk through your heart, and they're like, I am. And I'm like, babe, you're in your head. And I can explain it to them. I can show it to them. So I'll do it now. I'll do a demonstration. So if I start talking from my head, I start to feel a little bit dizzy, but it's very much a very different way of talking. When I'm coming from my heart space, it's very different. I know when I'm in my heart space because I can feel it here, but I can also feel and know that when I say things, I'm saying the right thing. I'm saying something that is not mean, that is coming from a place of love. Whereas when I'm coming from my head, if I'm really exhausted, it's quite difficult for me now because I've been practicing this for over 35 years. Yeah, a long time. But for the first, 15 years, there were times when I would come from my head because I was really tired. And in those times, I could be mean to someone. I could, have little digs at people and things like that. And I found it very, very painful because I love people a lot, and I didn't want to do those things without being conscious of it. Even if I'm conscious, I did not want to hurt people, but saying things that hurt them, being in situations where people were angry with me because I'd said things or did things, I wanted to take as much responsibility as possible. And I knew that I could take a lot of responsibility from coming from my heart space. So what I now need to talk about is what that means. Basically, we are a energetic soul, a spirit. This soul, this energy of self. So we'll talk, I like to see it as consciousness. We can consciously bring our energy into different parts of our body. So a lot of you would know about chakras and about breathing into the body in different parts and the chakra centers and all of that stuff. So some of you don't know about that, and there are lots of videos. So have a look at them if you need to know what I'm talking about, because there are some fantastic videos on chakras and energy centers and that sort of stuff. But basically, the body has different energy centers, and the heart space energy center, which is just here, when you actually bring your focus and you put your focus onto that space opens up to consciousness in a way that nothing else does. Now, consciousness is the interconnectedness of all of us. It's the ever unfolding being of self. It is omnipresent, and it is limitless, and it is timeless, and it is cavernous. So it's also the place where people will talk about things like Akashic records and a deep, deep set of awareness. And the more you fall into your heart space, letting this like lotus of self open up, the more awareness you have with everyday life. So when I'm having an argument with someone, or they're actually, hang on, let's go backwards. When somebody's arguing with me, because that's usually the case, and they're arguing with me, I can breathe into my heart space and literally a door will open to say, Catriona, they're frightened, or they're just scared, or they can't feel that you love them, or they're worried you're accusing them of something, or they feel like they're being threatened, or they're acting like they're 5. And so I can adjust what I'm doing, and I can say, darling, I really care about you. I'm not blaming you. I'm trying to work on this behavior so we can have a better life together, because it's actually quite difficult that you're snapping at me at this moment. You know, what's going on? Why are you snapping? How are you feeling? What's going on? You know, I can find the compassion for them and for myself through my heart space. So I guess the bottom line is my work is about deep connection to yourself. Like, what is the self beyond the physical body, beyond the programming, beyond, you know, just your lifetime, like in terms of the things that have happened to you. Like, yes, we've all had, you know, terrible things happen. Everyone's had something happening to them, whether they've lost a loved one, or they've seen an animal die, or they've had, you know, a terrible childhood, or they've been hurt or bullied, or there's always something that we all have. And being able to live beyond that is not a point of reference to everything, and learning how to make a choice about how we choose to react rather than just reacting through life, that to me is true spiritual life. Living this life through this abundance of consciousness, this abundance of awareness, this abundance of kindness and support for yourself and for others. That is a truly magnificent way to live. And that is part of what the teachings that I'm bringing forth are for. So a starting point, if you're at a starting point with living with the conscious awareness of self through the heart space, the starting point is the breath. And of course, breathing is important. But why breathing is super, super important is because when you breathe deeply and with a conscious breath, it slows your brain down. It kicks in your body's ability to heal. And it also deeply connects you to yourself. And it gives your brain, it calms your brain down, your brain stops going into fight, flight, and you find a way to get solutions rather than just focusing on the problems. So if you have problems in your life, taking deep breaths will really help you. There are meditations on this YouTube channel that you can try that will help you learn to breathe and be consciously aware. Meditation is also a fantastic tool. Meditation is not about stopping your brain. It's about working with consciousness, being conscious of where you're choosing to put your energy in that moment. It's a very powerful tool. There are many ways to meditation. There are many layers to it. So I really suggest you try doing some meditation. I have some on my YouTube channel. There are others on YouTube as well. Try them, have a go. If you need something particular, you can always request it and I can record something for you. But yes, breath work, thinking like breathing, meditation work. And the other one is looking at how am I feeling? So feeling and learning what your feelings are and becoming aware of your feelings and emotions will change your life forever. So my little mantra is, what am I feeling? What do I need? And what am I going to do about it? What am I feeling? What do I need? What am I going to do about it? What am I feeling? What do I need? What am I going to do about it? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because if you are asking yourself what you need and you look after your needs and you find ways to look after your needs, you are going to transform your life like amazingly. But when you ask yourself that, it needs to come from here, not your head, because your head will often tell you things that you think you need, but you don't. Whereas your heart will tell you what you really need, even if it's something that's difficult for you to do. Hopefully this has given you a bit of an insight into my work, but also a little insight into how to support yourself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.